Hello there. After I successfully created a colonial empire as Greenland the last time, and even the game itself wanted me to stop this madness by throwing stones in my way, it is time for a new obscure challenge: Andorra. This microstate owns only one single location, and its mountains no interesting trade good whatsoever, and only 6,000 people live there. And if that weren't enough stones in my way, they also start off completely landlocked between their only two neighbors, Aragon and France. But at least their theocracy government gifts you with shitty rulers the entire game. Man, this country is indeed so bad that even my fellow colleague Elsbo HD ranked it 6th place in the worst unplayable nations in all of EU5. So let's make this work, shall we? Now there's one actual good thing about Andorra, which is that you start off completely safe because you are guaranteed by France and Aragon, your only two neighbors. So none of those will attack you aggressively, although of course they are your only path of expansion still. Anyways, this makes the opening slightly easier in terms of, not being afraid of getting annexed. And therefore, the opening moves of Andorra in my game were actually based off encourage migration the entire time and avoiding the Black Death to, of course, not lose all of the encouraged migration. And interestingly enough, that works pretty well because you are part of the Barcelona market, and therefore all of the provinces in the market that don't have such a good migration attraction, and keep in mind, if you use the cabinet action to encourage migration, then you have a much higher migration attraction than normal locations have. And therefore, basically, you could get around 100 people per month moving to your one location. And with the exception of the Black Death, where of course you should, isolate yourself. This actually means that within the first 20 to 30 years, you can get this up to 15 to 20,000 pops, which is at least something to work with. And even though in the beginning you are making basically no money, you are still making some money. And of course, there are also some events at some point. And if you use the time in which you are saving up all your money that you get to also increase your crown power, at the point where you get enough money to upgrade your RGO one time, which is 50 ducats, then after that you actually have some economy to work with, because the one RGO upgrade will actually greatly increase your potential of your tax base, and therefore if you increase your crown power in the meantime, you actually get quite some taxes off of that. And then of course this is the scaling mechanic that I use to then upgrade the RGO to the next level once I got another 50 ducats and so on, and also upgrade laborer buildings, because some of those laborer buildings actually only cost 30 ducats basically to invest in, and they were oftentimes giving me 0.5 even tax base increase, which of course off of that I could tax like 0.2 or something in the end. And therefore, even though you don't have any trade in the beginning of the game, you don't have your own market, you don't have any trading buildings or something, you can't trade, but still with just these taxes from RGOs and laborer buildings, I was able to scale up fast enough to found a town. And this is where the game actually starts. So, you can see I'm in the year 1394 now. And in these last 50 years basically of the game, I scaled the hell out of my one province that I have, or one location rather. That you can see this location right now has a potential tax base of 14, which is insane if you compare that to the beginning. You can see I started with like 1.6 or something, right? And that gives me a total balance of, actually almost 6 ducats per month balance, which is insane. But now I've actually reached a point where I can't really grow any further while stay as a rural location rank. Because you can see, yeah, I've already maxed out my lumber mills. I could build 2 more fiber crop farms, but then this is maxed out as well. And all the other buildings aren't really giving me that much money. And on top of that, I'm already at the building, over the building capacity already by 3 buildings, you can see, which is increasing the new buildings cost by 14%. And also decreasing the migration attraction. On top of that, you can already see over here, with, I was just keep encouraging migration over here with 1 cabinet member for the entirety of the campaign, basically. So from the entire Barcelona market, they were basically moving like between 50 to 200 people per month over to my capital. And now you can see that I'm actually over the population capacity. There we go. And this is actually going to increase the demotion speed. It actually reduces migration attraction by a lot. And it actually disables population growth, like natural population growth entirely, which would be quite something if I had that from these 50,000 right now, right? And therefore, what I did right now is I saved up 400 ducats because I couldn't get a parliament issue for that. I don't know why, but now I can actually make my capital a town location rank for 391 ducats, as you can see, which is then going to, actually change a lot. For example, you can see a town location rank is of course enabling burgers for my for my society in my location, but also as an estate for my country. But then on top of that, you can see it gives an additional 20,000 base population capacity, as well as 10% local population capacity. And therefore also you can see 25 additional building levels supported. So let's just do that. Found a town. As you can see, the town in Andorra itself. There we go. It's going to take 1 year, but then I'm pretty sure the scaling will go on. There we go, 2 more days. That's it. Yeah, excellent minister as well. But now you can see this is an actual town of Andorra in this province. And now you can see what crazy impact that actually has. You can see the population capacity went up to 85,000 right now, which is insane for, considering this is a mountains province, of course. That basically means that right now I can almost double my current population and still be within the population capacity. And on top of that, you can see I can now build way more buildings. You can see 45 in total. And I'm only using 19 now. Yeah, I've lost also the peasant buildings, of course, which is no problem whatsoever, because after a month tick, I'm going to get burgers in here. There we go. And the nobles already building the first building for the burgers. So yeah, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to invest into burger buildings. Most importantly, first of all, the marketplace, I think, to actually get some trade going. And then, I'm just going to keep migrating more pops from the Barcelona market in my single location and keep growing my population and keep growing my tax base, of course, which is already 14 now. So, friends, what can I say? Man, these 3 wars that I fought were actually quite difficult, quite more difficult actually than I thought they would be. Now, I managed to win the first one, which was obviously by far the most riskiest one, versus Aragon by basically, breaking the alliance with Castile with, where is it? This interaction over here from Castile. And then I basically attacked Aragon myself without any allies. You can see they are only allied to Castile right now. They had Burgundy as their ally at times, but they weren't actually able to get over here because probably they couldn't get any access from France. What I did is I basically siege raised them, and it was a pain as hell, man, because we all know sieges in EU5, sadly, they overtook the system from EU4, which means that, even in EU5, sieges are still a huge gamble, and we all know the casino, or in this case, the AI, always wins. So yeah, it was pretty tough, man. I had to reload 1 or 2 times actually to make this work. But then I was able to actually defeat them with my horses on the mountain castle of Andorra itself by, splitting their armies a little bit off. And yeah, after all, I took these provinces or these locations that you can see right here, which is basically just my home province in its entirety, plus 1 more location in a different province. You're going to see in a second why. Now, I've actually been making quite some money with that. You can see, if you have a look on the, tax base increase, there you can see there is, this was the war versus Aragon, which obviously, made my pops be very unhappy because they were sieged for a pretty long time. But then after that, you can see it goes up and up and up, and now even further up. And so I actually managed to build an economy that can maintain this army easily, making money 10 ducats almost, that is with full stability and culture investment right here, which I'm actually going to stop right now because I reached my goal. You're going to see that in a second as well. And then the next war that I fought was a religious war versus Granada that I used a religious CB for that I got from Technologies. And I basically only fought them to get Morocco into the war without fighting Tunis. And I even called in Castile for this war. And even though Castile had like 60, 70,000 troops, even at that point, they weren't able to defeat the Moroccans and the Granadans at first. But then slowly they ran out of regulars, and we could defeat them eventually, meaning that I was able to take these lands over here, which is mainly for 2 reasons. First of all, I wanted a state like this one over here that has a lot of population. So 260,000 just living in this one state. I didn't even bother integrating this because I won't be able to use that. But I am going to use the population. You're going to see in a second why. And I took this one location in another province because I had hoped that this would be enough to release a colonial nation. Now, this is the entire idea of this, conquering stuff in Africa, that I actually wanted to have basically lands that are overseas. So you can see right now, this is on another continent. It's not connected to my capital, and therefore this is considered overseas. Somehow, if I try to release a subject over here, you can see there is no option to release a colonial nation. And let's be honest, I'm not 100% sure why. I actually had to test that out in a non-Ironman game to see what actually is the problem here. And I figured that the problem is that it is still too close to my capital, basically. And that Africa somehow doesn't really work for Europe. But what works is Asia. So if I had anything on the continent of Asia, I could actually release a colonial nation there. And that is exactly what I did. I no-CB'd Eretna over here that had no allies whatsoever and only 3,000 levies. I no-CB'd them, and it was a hell of a struggle to get over there with military access and so on, especially through the Ottomans who like me actually right now, but they didn't before, as you can see. I took just this one single location over here, and the reason for that is that this location over here is considered overseas and far away enough that I can actually, from my home state of course, that I can actually release a colonial nation over there if I wanted. So you can see colonial nation. The entire trick that I want to do is, let me just show you that in the researches. The entire trick is that I want to use this mechanic over here that unlocks the cabinet action, send people to the colonies, to send people over from this well-populated state over here up to the state where I live in, basically. So I basically want to migrate them over to my homeland. Okay, for that, I actually need to create a colonial nation not somewhere in Asia, but actually next to my state, next to my home state, basically, so that I can then feed the colonial nation with one single location, one shitty location with wheat, for example, for that wouldn't give me much money anyways. Feed that to them and then migrate the pops over from there into this state of the colony, which also happens to be my home state, and therefore it will then transfer the pops to my own locations. If I can release a colonial nation on this province, that means if my capital were on this location, I could then release colonial nations in my homeland. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. Now, problem is, if I want to move my capital there, I can't do that because it's not a core. And it's not a core, if you have a look on this location, because it is not, of course, an accepted culture. And that is what I was waiting for the prestige event that I just got, so that I can now actually accept Turkish as a culture temporarily. I'm going to give away this province anyways. That now means that after month tick, you can see this is now a core province. And that means with 500 ducats and 20 stability, I can now move my capital to this one location in Asia. Temporarily, of course. You can see 200 days and it's finished, and then we're going to see the next step. And there is the new capital, and yeah, of course I can't keep it like that because basically I would lose all of the control that I have in this area. So yeah, what I need to do right now is to move the capital back immediately, but before that, of course, I want to do what I wanted to do from the beginning of the game, which is a custom subject in this one location only, and make it a colonial nation, as you can see. And yeah, just choose some shitty guy over here. You can just put him in the cabinet instead of this guy. So I'm going to put this guy into charge over there. Now you can see I've got a colonial nation or viceroyalty of Barbastro, which is actually a colonial nation, of course, right? And now what I can do is I can seed a location, as I said, the shitty location with a very bad trade good over here, to them. And what that means now is that I can now go to the cabinet and yeah, just appoint this guy over here and use the new cabinet action that I unlocked just recently, which is send the people to the colonies. You can see it's an administrative one, so it's actually perfect to do that with this guy. And now I can choose the province that I want to send pops from, okay, which is of course this very well populated province down here with 260,000. And I'm going to choose my colonial nation right next to me as the target of that. And then I'm going to, of course, choose my home capital, which they own one location in, as the target of the migration. Okay? And now let me just immediately move my capital back. Let's just do it like this. You can see, yeah, basically 230 days, and then it's done entirely. But now, after a month tick, you're going to notice what happens with these migrations. Now, first of all, you can already see there are 160 people leaving this place down there in Morocco. And you can already see that they are not moving, not at all, moving to the one location that my colony owns. But instead, let me just see where. Instead, you can see they migrated right now to this location that I own. And it is basically random to what location they migrate, but they will always migrate to one of my personally owned province or locations in this entire province of Urgel, which is, of course, my capital province. Oh, okay. And funnily enough, a thing happened that actually happened before. That, yeah, I got a new Prince Bishop, and it is the ruler of Aragon. But, yeah, no worries that I actually have the matrilineal succession law, which is the only, basically the only, yeah, succession law that includes children of the monarch, of the theocratic ruler. So that's why I chose that. But yeah, basically that means that the daughter will now become my ruler afterwards and not his main heir. So yeah, that's no problem. He is actually quite a shitty ruler, but yeah, this union will probably end. Anyways, let's just wait until the capital is back in Andorra itself. But let's just show you one more thing first. I can actually do this several times, okay? So I can actually go send people to the colonies from the same location to the same location. And I can do that basically with all of my cabinet members. And I'm going to do exactly that. Just like that. Which, yeah, after a month take now, let me just show you what I mean. And maybe save my troops a little bit. Yeah, obviously I lost my trades as well. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But first of all, you can see now I'm literally migrating 500 pops per month to my capital location. And yeah, you can see 187 here and 300 here in this month. And this will basically change and randomly spread on all of these locations that I own. So yeah, I'm probably able to get this very well populated within no time. But yeah, now we actually have to fight a war because of this personal union, which is of course very bad. Yeah, you can see, I mean, at least Castile is on Aragon's side. So, you know, they are actually helping me out. By the way, I'm still allied with them. So that's nice. Yeah, about the numbers, you can see we even got more ships, but we have less troops. And also, look at this, man. They have double the regulars in cavalry than I have. And then same in artillery, man. Infantry even more. This is going to be tough, man. I really hope that I won't lose any land with that, man. Because I do have a border with France, you can see just over here. Ah, by the way, and somehow now I can actually call the parliament again, which is nice. And I'm just going to take one with the most support, because all I basically want to do is I want to ask for law changes, and basically I want to close the borders over here, which disallows foreign migration. Foreign migration means that the borders of a country in either direction are closed, But as I'm migrating pops from my own country, just a different location, to my, own country, just a different location, I can still do that, but without fearing that they then might wander off to some other provinces in the Barcelona market. Okay, so that's why I'm going to do that. You can see open borders just doesn't give anything else anyways. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, I guess I can even, get the support done still. Yeah, now let's just try to survive this war. Okay, thank God, man. I can actually piece out of this war separately. You can see they are actually losing this bad. And yeah, they are at 42% of sieging my capital down. Right now, without the siege being successful, I can actually piece them out for giving them food access, military access, war reparations, and 144 ducats, which is, I think it's a pretty cheap deal if I, if I imagine what happens once they get my capital, basically. But anyways, there we go, out of this bad war, man. And literally only because of France attacking Aragon and me being in a union with them. So super annoying. Anyways, turn down the army maintenance, which isn't much right now because I just fought a battle here. And yeah, now I can continue to move my capital back to Andorra. Get the control back up that you can see right now is already down by a bit. And yeah, keep moving pops over to my capital state and make this a true mountain paradise. And this is it. I reached a point on which I would say that this first part of this game was actually a great success. Because look at my country for a second. Now, if you wonder why I don't have any territories down here anymore, or why I have 7,500 gold in my pocket, then that's because of the same reason that I actually sold just within the last 2 years or something, sold these locations back to Morocco itself. But yeah, you can already see on the pops that, for example, this province over here, which was called Ceuta when I had it, this province only has 1,000 pops left. Okay, and this entire province, instead of 260,000 population, now only has 85,000 population. Sadly, I couldn't actually get rid of more of these pops, probably just because of this one location over here. Because, yeah, I don't think you can actually migrate if there is less than 1,000 pops in a location. So that's why the cabinet action was just disabled automatically every month. So yeah, I couldn't really bother to keep that going. And yeah, therefore, this is now done, and I think very successfully, honestly. You can see now, by the way, also the Moroccan patriots that were uprising the entire time. I actually used a cabinet member constantly to keep them from not revolting because I can't get there. I don't have any ships, right? But yeah, now that they are actually, like, part of them are actually Catalan, as you can see, most of them. You can see 95% of them are Catalan culture now. And therefore, yeah, it's actually going down now. And also the Sunni zealots are going to disappear very soon, because from now on, all of these pops are consolidated in my capital state. You can see right now, Andorra itself, my capital, has almost 100,000 pops, which is basically on the population capacity. On top of that, all the other locations have, you can see, 45, 40, 38,000 pops. And yeah, I already started to build training fields in here, as well as more armories. So right now, not only do I have a very decent income for my situation, I mean, I'm still trapped between Aragon and France, right? I can't just expand wherever I like, right? I'm still basically a small trapped nation. And for that, I think 60 ducats of income in 1530 is quite decent, especially if you have a look on the tax-based progress that I made throughout the entire game. You can see I started at 1 ducat tax base and now I'm at 100 ducats. And yeah, that is of course a huge win. And you can also already see that the manpower is now very decent, 100 per month. And therefore the next thing I would do with the money that I just got from Morocco and the decent income and the decent manpower, I would probably build up a better army that can actually hopefully fight Aragon again. You can see they only have 4,000 potential levies right now, but that's just because of their war. But yeah, basically if I get double the army, I'm pretty sure I can just fight Aragon after I used the same interaction to isolate Castile from them. And yeah, then of course expand further into the mountain stuff over here. Or maybe even just taking money or a coastline or something. Probably this one over here, honestly. Which I would really like to have for some sailors as well. By the way, the Aragonese ruler is still alive with 79 years old. But yeah, if he dies eventually, which I'm not that sure about anymore, then I will be independent again, no longer in a in a union with them. Let me know in the comments what you think about this entire run, how it evolved, and let me definitely know in the comments if I should continue this run. I actually have an interesting idea, I would say, with a potential crusade that we could go on. But if this video goes well enough, I'm going to continue this entire series, trying to get more provinces from Aragon just to move more pops into my mountain province, and of course trying to go on a crusade. If you want that, let me know, and as always, we are going to see on another Monday.